channel. We inform you about these. YouTube channels is still in processing, but till tomorrow morning everything will be like a fixed. Now we give the temporary links for live streams. So we have a team here. You can tomorrow we also provide you with telephone numbers, so you can just like a call, send messages, or ask our team on place, and we will try to assist you as much as possible. You also feel free to use the downstairs premises and here premises for your work if you need to sit and work with the materials, so we will assist you as much as possible. Да, все працює, зараз включить. So today we have two briefings which will be here. For now on we will have a short briefing from the Ministry of Defense about the current situation, and afterwards we will ask you to leave the premises. We'll make the security check, and it will be the briefing with the prisoners of war, of young Russian soldiers, which Putin said which are not here, of 18, 19 years old, conscripts. And for tomorrow we will do our best to have the briefings till the end of this day, and we'll inform you additionally. If you have any specific requests or wishes about whom you would like to hear and what information you need more, please inform our team. We will work on this. And now I give the floor to Leonid Matyukhin, officer of the Center for Operational Information of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Leonid Matyukhin, офицер Центру оперативного інформування.
Leonid Matyukhin from Central of Operational Information of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine.
About the Russian invasion, and afterwards you will, if there would be a question which we can answer, we will try to.
Я буду...
Да. Okay. Да.
Okay. We have simultaneous interpretation, so you're just speak. You're all welcome, all of you here. This has been the 19th day of heroic fight of Ukrainian nation against the Russian military invasion. The situation and the nature of actions of our defense forces have not underwent any significant changes, and the Ukrainian armed forces have have made strong strikes against the infrastructure and warehouses in order to destroy the logistic support of the enemy in the territories temporarily occupied by Russians. Within the previous day, the Air Force of the Ukrainian armed forces has downed 4 aircraft, 3 helicopters, and drones, unmanned vehicles. The information, additional information, their types, is expected. Occupational forces have not made any significant success in any area of their movement. Their main efforts have been concentrated on strengthening the previously occupied front lines, and there are again and again cases where the enemy is using civilian infrastructure, in particular religious places, for making their positions, placing their weapons and military equipment. The psychological condition of the enemy is at a low level, and Russian troops refuse to follow the orders of their superiors. According to the information we have, in the Russian Federation, in the city of Belgorod, there is a military camp of the Belgorod military commander's office, commissioner's office, and they keep there the Russian soldiers which have left hospitals and wait to be sent to the troops. Also in that camp they keep the Russian military members who refuse to participate in the aggression, and there has been investigation run against them. I also have to mention that in the Russian troops there is a lot of people who don't want to fight against the Ukrainian armed forces, but those people remain in the informational vacuum. They don't have their mobile phones, and they only have information from their commanders. The total losses of the enemy since the 24th, from the 24th of February to the 14th of March, the tentative numbers are these: more than 12,000 people 389 tanks, 1,249 infantry fighting wheels, 1,500 artillery systems, 64 missile systems, 34 anti-aircraft systems, 77 aircraft, 90 helicopters, and 617 vehicles and 3 vessels, and 60 tanks with fuel and lubricants, drones of the tactical level, 80 drones, 80 UAVs. We are still clarifying those data. It's difficult to calculate because there is a high intensity of hostilities. And according to the information we received just recently, in the east of Ukraine, there is yet another batch of those Russian people who have been, say, lost in training, as they call it, and they have been Nazified in Donetsk Oblast, and Ukrainian defenders have captured documents of the people from the 21 separate infantry brigade, motorized brigade. Please show them on the screen. 21st Brigade of 2nd Army of the Central District, 136th Brigade of the 38th Army of the Southern District, as well as the military members from the Federal Directorate of the Storage and Destruction of Chemical Weapons in the city of Penza. The presence of those latter in the first ranks of the attacking force of the Russian military means that they have lots of problems with manpower. I'd like to hope that hands of those people you see on the screen will never shoot at Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian civilians again. Jumping ahead just a bit, recently, as you probably heard already, there has been information that in the city of Donetsk some rocket or missile fell down. And jumping ahead, if you have that question, I would like to say that definitely that was a Russian missile or another cartridge. And to be open, you know, it makes no sense to discuss it, because any of you can see with your own eyes that during 8 years Russian propaganda kept telling that Ukrainian armed forces are shelling Donetsk, are shelling other cities. But that's elementary. You can look at how Donetsk looks today after those 8 years, and you look at Kharkiv and Mariupol, how they look, where Russian invaders, Russian occupying forces have been shelling them for 2 weeks. Thank you. That's it. Questions? Please speak into the microphone.
Tell your media, yes, and introduce yourself.
Hello, Leonid officer. We are from Star Channel, Greece, and I would like you to evaluate the two...
Just a moment, please. Just a moment. Дайте наушник. А, там есть, да?
Okay.
Нужен наушник? Вот.
А, сразу брать?
Ага, да.
Please speak into the microphone.
Okay.
Okay. I am Levki Georgaki from Greece, from Star Channel, and I would like to ask you how you can evaluate or to comment the strikes that you had today in Kyiv.
The matter is this. It's not difficult to comment on that. The Russian Federation says they have achieved some success. What they call a success in their view is their only success is this: they are killing civilians, mostly men and women, just civilians. Be it in Kyiv or in other cities and towns, they only shell and shoot at, say, civilian sites, residential blocks. Most of it is where they have achieved some success. In Kyiv, if you mean the latest event, our anti-aircraft, anti-air defense system worked and downed the Russian rocket, and pieces of that rocket dropped in Kyiv. That's, if you mean that latest event, that's where we downed their missile.
Laris, I'm a Greek correspondent from Sky TV Athens. I would like to ask you, there are reports that Russia has asked military equipment from China. Do you have such information? Also, under which conditions and under which guarantees would Ukraine agree to a solution with Russia?
Дивіться, справа в тому,
Look, the matter is that international relations, you know, I am not competent to comment on international relations, but all I can say in this context is this. Currently, you know, there is no black and white, but currently the whole world sees that it's civilization fighting some uncivilized people. Everybody just make their choice. Are you for civilization or for those wild uncivilized people? And I cannot confirm or whatever these people. That's a question for international experts. Marinos Alfiris, Megakanal z Grecji.
How many attacks have been since at the morning to Kyiv? How many you can prevent the attacks? And how many simple people lost their life from these attacks?
ну, точної інформації я
I cannot provide any precise information because even now when we are here, maybe we cannot hear some attacks. You know, our air defense systems keep downing them, but you have to understand that, you know, the number of rockets shelled, as we saw just yesterday, there may be dozens of rockets against one town, one city, and I would say that our air defense guys are heroes. You see the way they operate, we can only praise them. Could you please tell us which percentage of Russian forces has already been used in Ukraine? Should we expect more? You know, I will not tell you the exact numbers, but most of those forces concentrated on the border with Ukraine have already entered Ukraine, and a very significant part of them have been defeated down to zero level. Actually, as of today, the largest problem, in my view, is, you know, in terms of additional forces and so on, you just have to understand one simple thing, that also in Russia, currently, most people are in that information vacuum. They don't have information. You see, there was time when Nazi Germany was also confident that and saying that they fight for, people there were saying confident that they fight for something good. Now the Russian Federation has just replaced it, you know, but they are even more tricky than the Nazi Germany, because Nazi Germany at least called the war a war, and they declared that war.
About the American journalists. What happened? What exactly happened with the American?
With American journalists, we have a previous briefing. It was the responsibility of the Ministry of Internal Affairs.
Oh, so,
yeah. So you can see the script of the video. Who has the mic? Okay.
Добрий день, Віктор.
Good afternoon, Viktor Melnikov, a special reporter for CGTN. Could you please tell us, you said that there has been that latest case where air defense downed the rocket today. Do you mean what happened in Abolon district? Yes, it happened in Abolon, and the remainings of that rocket dropped over Kurinivka district. And there are a lot of reporters now at the moment. I think that very soon we will get more information, clearer information, because I'm here with you, and I cannot know more than you do at the moment.
You have... Okay.
From Russia comes this information that Peskov says that the Russians are ready to conquer cities, to conquer every cities of Ukraine. How can you stop this Russian military act?
Дивіться, вчора
Look, yesterday, from Hostomel, from Bucha, from different directions, we have seen people who managed to flee that invasion. And when talking to those people and speaking with them, we saw by minute how they, their eyes become more energetic, you see, because currently Russia has been creating this information vacuum. Wherever they enter, they immediately take telephones, mobile phones from people, and sometimes there have been cases when people were killed, when people were told to give their phones, and people didn't do that, and when the Russians found those phones, they killed those people. How we can do it? We can do it with your help, because Russia has tried to stop the information resources, to hinder information as much as possible. They want to have a country where they would, in their virtual world, they will win in the Olympics, they will win in international exercises and all that. But how we can win? We can win using free media, using truthful information, because whatever is disseminated by Russian propaganda, almost 100% of it is, because, you know, they mention some names and so on, but names may be true, but virtually 100% of it is lies, just lies. We'll try our best. Ukraine has been working to that end, and we don't have any doubt that we will win. Ukraine will win. The only question is how many, what will be the losses, how many victims will fall, and how soon it will happen.
Analyze our briefing now.
Я з вашого дозволу хотів би
If I may, I'd like to add literally a couple of words about, you know, I would like to use this opportunity to address the Ukrainians with your assistance. I'd like to really ask you, I keep saying these things for 8 years, after the shelling, after attacks, please, especially if you are talking about military facilities, military infrastructure, if it's about production plants, please don't immediately share information online where the Russians have directed their strike and where they missed, because it's about making them correcting their targets. Thank you for attention.
Now, thank you, Leonid. And the next briefing will be at 3. With the prisoners of war here, but before we will ask you all to leave for security checkups. Thank you.